We're on week 2 of talking about how to become the expert, like the go-to expert in your local area. So why are we spending 3 whole weeks talking about this? Well, that's pretty easy to answer. As professionals, we are experts, and people are looking for the best when it comes to things like their teeth and their smiles. So, if you are considered your local expert, you will naturally have more people who want to come and see you to become your patients. You can grow your practice to any size you want. There will always be people who want to see you. Who doesn't want that? So, last week we talked about Google, my friend Google, and being found on the internet by people who are searching for your services. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about putting yourself out there. And more importantly, putting out there the things that you know. Some people will find today's content difficult because I know that there are many dentists out there that just really don't feel comfortable being, let's say, the face of the practice, or kind of being the lead on that in-person presence. And there are things I'm going to suggest today that have nothing to do with your face being on anything. But man, if you're like me and you don't mind being on camera, that will do great things for you. So we are going to talk about things like social media, blogging, press appearances, lead magnets, podcasts, I mean, basically anywhere that someone could learn more about you or more about what you know. Okay. Do you have to do this? No. Nothing that I tell you you have to do, but it really can benefit your status in your local community if it's something that you're willing to do. So keep an open mind, and maybe one of these will jump out at you. You do not have to do all of them. That might be a lot, but definitely there might be one here that speaks to you. So do the thing that feels right to you. I just know that all of this stuff works. Let's start with social media. I know most of you have social media that either you are managing or someone on your team is managing, or you are paying a company to manage for you. My number one piece of advice for social media, if you want to use that to get the word out about you and your expertise and the amazing transformations you give to people, you need to get rid of anything that is cookie cutter. Your post should not look like anyone else's posts. Some of those marketing agencies have the same posts on every website that they do. You really want to show your true colors. People are looking for authenticity and quality content, those two things together. You being authentically who you are and providing something of value to them. So you need to be able to show them, who are you? How do you help people? What kind of transformations do you help people to accomplish? What type of expert knowledge do you have? Now, if you don't want your face on your social profiles, fine. I personally am the face along with Dina of our social profiles, but that's because we're both totally performers. But you can do so many awesome things on social media with other people in your office, with images, with voiceovers, with AI. It doesn't have to be you, but put something original out into the space. Boring content about like the importance of flossing doesn't really get the word out about you. It doesn't make you stand out. So think about this and then start to do something that really speaks to you. It's actually much, much, much better to produce quality content. Less often, I would argue still regularly, but less often than like daily content that gets absolutely no engagement at all. If you want, feel free to check out our Instagram and TikTok. That's where we spend most of our time. I guess we still put some stuff up on YouTube as well to see what's working for us. Our TikTok, I think, is doing better than any of our other channels. And no, you don't have to dance. We do a little dancing, but you don't have to dance around on TikTok or do anything silly. Most of our content is purely educational. And it's funny because we just started leaning into social in the last year. We had sort of, not that we didn't care, we just really didn't have time. And Dina and I decided that we actually thought it'd be fun to do some TikToks. That's sort of where we started, and then it exploded a little bit from there. And it's actually really starting to make a difference for us. We have people come in all the time now saying they found us on TikTok, and we never thought that would ever happen because we thought it was maybe a great place once people had heard of us to follow, or for our existing patients if they wanted, some slightly entertaining content to follow us. But we're actually getting new patients from it now as well. Now, the next option I'm going to give you, I think, is one of the easiest, and it's blogging. Because not only does this put your knowledge somewhere out into the world on the internet where it can be found, but it also has the backup side effect of helping your website grow and rank on Google. So it's doing two things at once. And once again, this doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be writing blog posts for your website all the time. You could come up with a list of general topics or things that you really think people want to know about, or even just like patient pain points that you can speak to, or questions that people ask you all the time. You can have AI write big chunks of it and then have someone just edit it. You can pay someone to write this content for you. But really, on your website, a great idea would be to have a blog post go up at least once a month. This does a ton for your authority on the internet, but also for your authority for anyone who comes across the content that you write. So in a perfect world, you'd actually be looking at what keywords are my ideal patients typing into Google to find me? And then how can I write blog posts around those keywords that give them valuable information? So you want to provide always quality content. Years ago, it used to be a big thing to write blog posts and just like keyword stuff them. Don't do that. Google hates it. It's a bad idea. You have to make content that's readable, that's valuable, that is what people are actually looking for. And yes, you can have keywords in it, but whatever keyword you are targeting in that blog post, you want to make sure that it's only in there no more than once every 150 words. Okay, it's a good key, like a guideline to go by. But blog posts are an easy way, you don't have to be in front of a camera to still up your expert status. Now let's talk press. I know we just talked about social media and people not wanting to be on camera. And when I say press, fear arises once again. If you like to be on camera, like me, and it doesn't really bother you at all and doesn't make you super nervous and want to die, then you could become maybe like the local dentist on your local morning show. You go on there every month or two and cover some kind of oral health topic. I've been on a few breakfast shows. It was super fun. You could maybe, if you don't want to be on TV, you could be interviewed for a podcast. Could be local podcasts in your city, figure out who like are the big podcasters and, send out some information about you. They're always looking for guests all the time. You could be on a radio show. You get interviewed for a paper. You could be the author of an article in a community newsletter. Press is sort of endless. You could do like press releases. There are lots of ways to be showcased in your local community in forums that are not just the internet. And so think about that. You might know some people in those industries. Ask, see if they'll have you on. The possibilities really are endless. This is just your creativity. Now, another great way to put yourself and your expertise out there, once again, does not have to be your face in any capacity, is to create a lead magnet. And I've done some talks or trainings on lead magnets before, and I always giggle because when I say this word, nobody knows what I mean, because lead magnets have been huge in other businesses for about a decade at this point, but not really in dentistry. All that a lead magnet is a free piece of digital information that helps your ideal patients in some way. It could be a PDF or a quiz or an infographic or a video or a webinar. It could be just about anything digitally that you can create that solves a pain point or answers a frequently asked question. And basically what you do is you create this lead magnet once, okay? Take some time and effort, make it good. Nobody wants crap, even if it's free. So make it something good. And then you can push that lead magnet out to people. And you can do that on your organic social media. You can do that on paid ads. You can do it on your website. Like anywhere you could tell people about it, you could tell people about it. What you're doing with that lead magnet is you are educating people and you are becoming their expert on that topic. So when you give away a lead magnet, what you ask for in order for them to get that lead magnet is their email address. So you're exchanging. They give you their email address. You give them the free piece of information that they think sounds interesting and will help them. Okay. That means you have permission to communicate with that person until they opt out. And this is a great thing because you could add them to your newsletter or to an email campaign you're running, or you could invite them to local events or tell them about your promotions or tell them about the services you provide or whatever. But you have permission to stay in touch with that person after they've reached out and expressed interest in something that you have created and some information that you have provided. I'm not going to go into great detail on this video about exactly how to do that, but I will do that again in a future lesson. Most dentists aren't doing this and haven't heard of lead magnets. So let me just give you a few examples and feel free to steal them. Here's one for you. 10 tips for keeping your teeth until you're 100 years old. 5 ways to whiten your teeth at home. your complete guide to replacing missing teeth. Does my teen really need their wisdom teeth removed? You can literally come up with any pain point or question that patients ask, especially people that you're trying to target. If you are an oral surgeon or a dentist who loves taking out wisdom teeth, make something about wisdom teeth, right? I get asked all the time. We're recommending wisdom teeth out on teenagers constantly in an orthodontic office. And I get asked all the time, do they really need them out? There you go. So take any of those ideas if you want. Come up with whatever you want. You could have 1 lead magnet, you could have 45. I think they're never a bad idea. So if you have a desire to be seen as a local expert in your area, that list I just went through are some great ideas. Of course, it's not exhaustive, of things that you could do to up your status as the local expert. I want you to think about what you think about when you look for someone to do something important for you. We're usually looking for the person that we think is the best for the job. And how do we decide that? By whatever we can find, whatever happens to pop in front of us, or we ask other people, etc. When we meet next week, we're going to talk about impressing your existing patients or your new patients so that they will talk about you to other people. Okay, so that'll be next week. But if you want people to be able to find you, then some combination of what I spoke about today, plus Google, plus I will throw in there making sure you're asking for reviews to go up on Google, is a great way for you to be seen as the expert so you can bring more new patients into the practice. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week for the third and final segment of this.